Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching second part of What If Naruto Found Death God's Weapon. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Naruto ran through the village to get Gaara, Kankuro, and Temari or to kill them. While he was doing that, he ran into the shinobi Suna and Sound. Because they were in his way, he killed them with well-placed cuts and then took their souls. Before he got to the forest where Gaara and his sister were hiding, he killed at least 50 shinobi. Gaara and the others were being chased, but Naruto was not the only one. Sasuke saw when Naruto started to chase, so he went after him. Unfortunately, Sakura was there, and she couldn't stop herself from staying. So, she followed Sasuke because she thought that cheering for him and watching him fight was more important than helping the civilians. While they were looking for Gaara, Kushina went back to the Hokage Tower and started giving everyone orders. When everyone knew what to do, Kushina also went out to fight. She killed a few shinobis when she saw Naruto, who pursued Gaara and his siblings. She didn't want Naruto to fight him again, so she started following him and waiting for the right moment to stop him. Jiraiya wasn't bored too. He had to go to the wall and call some toads to help him fight the big snakes. The rest of the Junins, Chunins, and Anbu agents fought the enemy inside the village or on the wall. Minato and Onoki had their own fight with Orochimaru, of course. Naruto jumped as fast as he could from branch to branch to catch Gaara. He was right next to them. Of course Temari and Kankuro noticed this. He's standing right behind us. We need to find a way to slow him down, Kankuro said this as he and Temari were carrying Gaara. I know, but you're the one in charge. Can't you set up some traps? Asked Temari. I don't have time to make them. We have to slow him down by having one of us stay behind, said Kankuro and Temari nodded. You have to stay because I can heal better than you can. Temari said this, and Kankuro nodded to show that he agreed with her. She knew more about how to heal. Kankuro let go of Gaara all of a sudden, sat down on a branch, and got ready for Naruto. He got out his crow puppet and fought him with everything the crow had. However, Naruto didn't have time to deal with him, so he took out his scythe, and when he was near enough he cut the puppet into pieces, and while he did that he cut the chakra threads too, so Kankuro couldn't use the parts again because he wouldn't have had enough time to do that. Then Naruto cut him in one straight line. Even though it wasn't enough to kill him, it stopped him from moving. Kankuro fell down, and Naruto kept looking for him. How is it possible? How did he get rid of Crow so fast? I didn't realize how strong he was. However, he was the first one who could injure Gaara. So I should be glad I'm still alive, Kankuro thought. Then he saw Sasuke and Sakura, and a few minutes later, Kushina too. Gaara and Temari are being chased. I'd help them, but I'm stuck. Kankuro thought, sorry, sister, but you're on your own. Then he passed out. Back in the arena, Minato and Onoki were winning their fight against Orochimaru. Orochimaru, on the other hand, had a secret weapon. After some handshakes, 2 coffins fell from the roof. Edo Tensai. Minato, do you remember this jutsu? Orochimaru replied, and Minato clenched his teeth. Don't use that jutsu. It's against the rules for a reason. Minato yelled when he was mad. I dare because I can. Now introduce yourself, my friends, said Orochimaru, and the coffins opened and Minato stepped back a few steps because he saw who was inside. It was the first and the second Hokage. Orochimaru put a seal on them and they immediately attacked them. However, Minato wasn't the only one who was scared. Onoki trembled like never before. He still remembered the times when he and his master had to fight against them. Onoki calmed down, Minato yelled, and Onoki turned to face him. Yes, Orochimaru could bring them back, but they aren't even close to their full power, Minato said something, but Onoki didn't get it. What do you mean? Asked Onoki. The Edo Tensai brought them back, but they are not as strong as they used to be. So they are weaker now than when they were alive. I don't know for sure how strong they are now, But we can easily beat them if we all fight together, Minato said. They weren't that strong when I fought them years ago, and Onoki agreed. After a few minutes, Onoki realized that Minato was right, but because they were brought back by the Edo Tensei, they couldn't kill them, so the only thing they could do was seal them. After Onoki caught them with his Jinten Jutsu, Minato managed to seal them. This left only Orochimaru. Minato didn't. Right now, Orochimaru, I can't kill you, but I can take away your jutsus, Minato yelled. You won't take anything away from me, Orochimaru yelled back. We'll have to see, said dead demon consuming seal. Minato said something, and all of a sudden, death appeared behind him. Minato was the only one who saw it. Seal away his arms, shouted Minato, but before the death could do anything it stopped. My scythe, repeated the death the same two words. What do you mean? Seal off his arms. I can't hold him for too long, Minato yelled. My scythe is not far away, said death, and then it was gone. No, you can't go. Come back, shouted Minato, and Orochimaru saw a chance to escape from Minato's hold. I don't know who you're shouting to, but your jutsu didn't seem to work, Orochimaru said this, and he got out of the hold. Well then let's continue. Minato didn't have a better idea, so he kept fighting. However, the death didn't go away completely. It sensed his scythe and went after it. It found Naruto and stood in front of him. As soon as Naruto saw the death, he stopped fighting. Give my scythe back, mortal, said the death. I think you were death, and you want this, he said, Naruto said, and pulled out his scythe. Yes, give it to me now, death said it. I'm sorry, but I'm a little busy right now. I don't want to return it either. I like it, Naruto said this with a mean smile, and then Sasuke and Sakura suddenly appeared and went in the same direction as Gaara and Temari. Later, loser, Sasuke yelled before he and Sakura went away. Damn it. Now it's my turn to deal with them. Thank you so much, death, Naruto said. Kushina is already there, but he didn't realize it. At the same time, Sakura tried to talk to Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, do you know why Naruto Baka stopped so suddenly? Asked Sakura, who was interested. I don't care. He might have been scared. But it doesn't matter, because a loser like him could never beat Gaara, Sasuke said this with a proud smile. But he also beat Yumi. To do that, he had to cheat, but maybe Gaara will use a trick to beat you, said Sakura. If he beat her, she is just as weak as the others, he said. Now be quiet, because I need to focus on beating Gaara and proving to everyone who is the strongest. Same arrogant smile from Sasuke. Of course, Sasuke-kun, said Sakura with a smile, why she thought that Sasuke was so strong and wise. Now, let's go back to the talk between Naruto and Death. You idiot. You couldn't wait until I beat Gaara, could you? After that you could bother me, said Naruto, but Kushina didn't understand who he talked to because she didn't see anything. I was summoned by the fourth Hokage. And when he did that I sensed the scythe, so I came here and I found my scythe in the hands of a mortal, said the Death. This isn't the first time a human has had the scythe. If I remember right, someone else used this weapon before me. What did he go by? Yeah, Dante. Who even beat you, and then he destroyed hell, Naruto said something, but Kushina didn't understand anything he said. Yes, Lucifer sent the scythe away, even though he didn't have the right to. Now I want it back. Death said it. Death, I have a better idea. I will beat you by doing what Dante did. Then Naruto got ready to fight Death. When Kushina heard the word Death, she knew who Naruto was talking to. Mortal, you'll be sorry you did this, Death said it. I don't believe that. Naruto then vanished and reappeared in front of the Death. Just like Dante, he cut the Death in half with a powerful slash. No, not again, screamed the Death, and a lot of souls came out of its body, which Naruto took. Kushina saw this, but she had no idea what it was. Boy, I'll come back for you. And I'll take your horrible soul, the Death screamed, and then it was gone. You'll have to wait a little bit, Naruto said. Turn around, and he did. Mother, you can come out now. I know you're in there. Naruto and Kushina came out from where she had been hiding, she said. I think you must have heard everything, said Naruto. Most of it, but I don't understand what you were saying. I know, though, that you were talking to death, Kushina said, and Naruto and he smiled. Well, yes, I did. It said that my dear father asked him to come here, and he did, said Naruto. Why did Naruto come here? When Naruto asked Kushina, he began to laugh. Isn't it clear? You're moving very slowly for an experienced shinobi, Naruto said this while he was laughing. About what are you talking? Asked Kushina. This is why he came, Naruto said this while holding up his scythe. Why would death want to take your scythe? Kushina asked, and when she thought about it, her eyes got bigger. You did figure it out, didn't you? Asked Naruto. That is the scythe of death, Kushina said this, and Naruto smiled and nodded his head. Are you crazy, Naruto? Did you really steal the weapon of death? Kushina yelled at Naruto in anger, but all he did was laugh. I found it in a cave, as I said a month ago. But I think I should tell you everything, Naruto said this, and Kushina nodded because she was interested in this story. You know this isn't the only dimension. There are too many to count. In one of these dimensions, there was a mortal named Dante who stole the scythe and used it to defeat death. He then went to hell to save his love's soul, but before he could defeat Lucifer, he put the scythe away because it is one of the few weapons that can hurt demons. I don't know what happened to Dante, Naruto said it, but Kushina thought it was crazy. How do you know that? Asked Kushina. Everything was told to me by Kurama, Naruto said it in a flat tone. Kurama? Who is Kurama? Asked Kushina. Oh, you don't know his real name, but I think you know his other name, the Kyuubi, Naruto smiled, and Kushina's eyes got even bigger. You can communicate with the Kyuubi? How? Asked Kushina, who thought that all the events were making this day last too long. When I was 8 or 9, he started talking to me. He was my only friend because everyone thought I was a demon. The guilt made Naruto and Kushina start to look at the ground, he said. I've told you everything you wanted to know, she said. I have to finish my fight with Gaara, so please excuse me, Naruto replied. I'm going, but Kushina stopped him. I can't let you go, Naruto. It's too dangerous. Give me the scythe, and I'll finish this. Kushina and Naruto looked at her as if she had grown a second head, she said. I'll never give you my scythe, he said. Don't even consider doing it, said Naruto, but Kushina didn't give up just yet. You said that weapon can hurt demons, so it can hurt Bijus too. Give it to me, because I have a better chance of beating him than you do. Kushina said this, but Naruto didn't care why she said it. I, not you, will finish this fight. Then Naruto heard a blast from where Gaara and the others had gone. Great, now I have to clean up after Sasuke, too, Naruto said this with a groan. Naruto, please pay attention. I'll do this. I'm more likely to win, and I don't want you to get hurt, with a sad smile, Kushina said. That's very sad, but I don't care, Naruto said. Run to where the explosion was, and he did. Kushina followed him because she wanted him to change his mind. When they got there, Sakura was stuck to a tree with sand, and Sasuke was on his knees, panting like he had never done before. So this is how strong the great Uchiha clan is, Naruto said this as he shook his head. Shut up, loser, because I'll beat him in a minute. Sasuke said, I can't stand up, and he tried to. No, you have to sit down and let me take care of this. Naruto said this, but Sasuke just laughed. If I couldn't beat him, how could a loser like you beat him? Sasuke said this with a proud smile. Oh, you will be surprised, I think, Naruto spoke, and then he looked at Gaara. Show me what you can do, Gaara, Naruto yelled, and Gaara gave him a smile. As you wish, Uzumaki, Naruto, Gaara said, grow up, and he did. A minute later, Shukaku the one-tailed beast came out because Gaara had fallen asleep. Finally, I'm free. Let's destroy something, since it's been so long and I haven't done it in a while, shouted Shukaku. Kurama, any ideas? Naruto the fox asked. Well, Gaara used a lot of chakra to call Shukaku here, but he can only stay until Gaara goes to sleep. If you can wake him up, Shukaku will go back to the seal, said Kurama, and Naruto nodded. It seems simple, said Naruto, but Kurama laughed at him. As if. The first problem is that you have to climb up to his head where Gaara is. The second problem is that Shukaku's body is made of sand, so if you touch him, he can catch you and kill you. The best thing to do is to stop Shukaku and wake Gaara up from above. Kurama said this, and Naruto again nodded. When Naruto came back from his trip, he saw Kushina getting ready to use her chains. She was able to get Shukaku. I got you now. Naruto, go back now. I'll take care of this beast. Kushina was happy, but it didn't last long because Shukaku started to use his sand to get out of his chains. When Kushina saw this, she was surprised because it shouldn't have been possible. Your chains are weak because you haven't trained enough in the last few years, said Naruto. Let me explain how to do it. Then Naruto made a few hand gestures. Chains of Judeka, come out, Naruto yelled, and chains started to come up from the ground and bind Shukaku. He wanted to get rid of them, but he realized that he couldn't. What is it? How come I can't get out of these chains? In his anger, Shukaku yelled. What did you just say, Naruto? Asked Kushina. Those are the chains of Judeka, they said. Lucifer was bound by these chains for hundreds of years. It's the strongest chain in the whole world, Naruto said this, but he could see that the chains weren't strong enough yet because Shukaku was tearing them off. This was because they weren't the original chains, but a copy, a very good copy. Naruto needs to train for a few more years before the copy is as strong as the original. I don't have much time. Move over, mother, I'll get this done, but Kushina didn't listen to his son, Naruto. Also, the chains could only hold Shukaku for 5 minutes at most. I won't leave you here, she said, Kushina replied, and Naruto and him only groaned. Fine. Do what you want, but don't whine if you get hurt, Naruto said, I'm going to do hand signs, and he did. Kurama, if I call on IT, I will be completely worn out. If I pass out, please make sure no one takes my scythe, said Naruto, and Kurama nodded. Okay, kid. I'll send a little bit of my soul to the scythe. This way, only people with the same kind of soul can use it. Since you are the only one with my soul, the scythe will be safe, said Kurama, and Naruto nodded. Thank you. And now, let's step up this fight, Naruto said this with a crazy grin, and Kurama replied with his own. Oh, magical beast that punishes those who have wronged you, come show us what you can do. Kuchiyose no Jutsu Cerberus, when Naruto yelled, a huge monster suddenly appeared in front of Shukaku. It had 3 heads, and each one of them looked like a worm. They had one big mouth and others that were smaller. It stood on 4 legs, but the monster as a whole was very strange. When Kushina and Sasuke saw it, they were speechless. Sasuke couldn't believe that Naruto was able to call up such a monster. And Kushina was the same, but she now knew what Naruto meant when he talked about the second monster. She was curious about the third monster, though. Naruto quickly linked the scythe to Cerberus, where the 3 heads crossed, and now he was in charge of the beast. Okay, Cerberus, go after him, Naruto and Cerberus bellowed and ran at Shukaku. Shukaku was still bound by chains, but he could still use wind-type techniques to defend himself. He stopped the attack, but Naruto didn't give up yet. He told Cerberus to spit big acidic orbs at Shukaku. It was kind of helpful because it slowed Shukaku down. Naruto saw his chance and attacked Shukaku directly with Cerberus again. No, I don't want to go back. I've just started to enjoy being out here. Shukaku screamed because he thought Gaara had woken up. Naruto was almost out of chakra when he landed in front of Gaara after being hit. And because Shukaku had to return the seal, the sand colossus started to collapse. Gaara used his sand to land on a tree, while Naruto used his scythe to pull himself up to a tree. They both looked at each other. They were tired, but they had to keep fighting. They both jumped to hit each other, but Naruto was faster, so Gaara fell to the ground when he hit him. Naruto, on the other hand, wasn't as lucky. He fell to the ground near Gaara. Gaara couldn't move because he ran out of chakra, but Naruto used his scythe to get up. He dragged himself to Gaara, and when he looked at him he swore he looked at the death himself, and it made him scared. "No, leave me alone," Gaara yelled, and Naruto came up to him and looked into his eyes. "Please don't kill me," said Gaara. Then Naruto fell to the ground. "I won't kill you. There is no reason to kill you," said Naruto, who was about to faint. "What do you mean?" asked Gaara. "I have seen all of your life. You became a monster, but you never intended to do it. It was done by your dad. You killed a lot of people even though you didn't want to hurt anyone. In my eyes, you're not guilty. So I don't need to kill you," said Naruto. Then Temari appeared with a heavily wounded Kankuro. "Gaara, are you alright?" asked Temari. "It's over, Temari. We lost. Let's go home." Gaara and Temari grabbed Gaara and took him with them when they left with Kankuro. "There is something you need to know before you leave, Gaara," said Naruto. "What's that?" asked Gaara. "They told you lies. Your mother really did love you." Naruto said this, and Gaara's eyes got bigger. "How do you know that?" "People always said she didn't like me." Gaara, who thought Naruto was lying, said this. "Like I said, I saw your whole life. Usually, when I look at a person, I look for sins, but now I could see when you were born. Your mother was so happy to have you, but your father messed everything up," said Naruto, and Gaara nodded. "I'm glad you told me this." Gaara and the others left. As they hopped from branch to branch, Gaara started to cry because he was happy that his mother loved him. The others saw this and, deep down, they were happy too. "Temari, Kankuro, I'm sorry for everything." Gaara said it, and everyone else smiled. "It's okay, Gaara. There's nothing you need to say sorry for." Temari was happy because she had found his brother and brought him back. Back in the battlefield, Kushina caught Sakura before she fell to the ground. Then she created 2 shadow clones who took Sasuke and Sakura to the hospital, while the original one left to find Naruto. It didn't take too much time and found him. She ran to him to check if he was alive. "Naruto, are you okay?" asked Kushina, but by the time she got to Naruto, he was already out. She checked his heart and she heard it. She let out a sigh of relief because he was still alive. Then Kushina saw the scythe in his hand and tried to take it, but it burned her when she touched it. She tried a few more times, but she realized she couldn't take it. So, she tried a few times and used shadow clones to get the scythe on Naruto's back. Then she grabbed him and took him back to the village. Back in the arena, Minato, Onoki, and Orochimaru saw Shukaku come out and knew that the fight had reached its peak. "Looks like Gaara transformed completely. What do you plan to do next, Minato? You are stuck here, your daughter is in the hospital, and your wife can't beat Gaara by herself." Orochimaru said this, and Minato gritted his teeth because he was right. A few minutes later, though, they all saw Cerberus, and no one knew who had called it. "What the hell is that, Orochimaru? Is it another one of your experiments?" In his anger, Minato asked. "I'd be happy to say that, but I have no idea what that is. But if I had to guess, I'd say your son's second monster, Orochimaru, who really wanted to catch Naruto at the time, said this." "Minato, is that true?" asked Onoki. "I've never seen one of these monsters, so I can't be sure." Minato and Onoki sighed and kept fighting until they saw that Shukaku was gone. When they saw beacons coming from the wall, they knew the enemy had been pushed back. "Give up, Orochimaru. Shukaku is gone, and your forces were pushed back from the wall, Minato yelled, and Orochimaru knew that he had lost. I may have lost this battle, but I will destroy Konoha in the end. We are leaving, Sound 4, shouted Orochimaru, and the 4 shinobi turned off their jutsu and ran away with him. Minato and Onoki tried to catch them, but one of the Sound 4 shinobi used some kind of web to trap them, and when Minato and Onoki got out of it, Orochimaru and the others were gone. Damn it, they made it, Minato, who didn't like the way things were going, said so. There will always be another chance, Minato and Onoki both nodded. Thank you for your help. I owe you one. Maybe we can talk about how Konoha and Iwa can work together, Minato and Onoki agreed, he said, after all he had seen that day. I agree with you, Minato, and I think I know how to make this alliance strong, said Onoki. I am listening, Minato, who was interested, said. Your son and my granddaughter are going to get married. Minato was shocked for a moment when Onoki said this, but then he thought that maybe it wasn't such a bad idea. I do agree, Minato said this with a smile. Naruto slept peacefully in a hospital bed. His eyes started to move under his eyelids, and then he suddenly opened them. He got up and took a look around to see where he was. He looked around and saw that he was in a hospital room and wearing a hospital gown. He saw that the bandages on his arms and chest were still there. Then, when he turned to the left, he saw a card and a vase of flowers. Get well soon was written on the card. Naruto didn't know how long he had been gone, so he asked Kurama, who was the best person to ask. Hey, Fox, can you hear me? Naruto asked, and Kurama replied right away. Yes, I'm here. It looks like you woke up. I was getting tired of being here, the big fox answered. How long have I been gone? Asked Naruto. A full week, Kurama said this in a flat voice. Are you serious? An entire week? My god, Naruto said, hold my head with one hand, and he did. Don't be so surprised. You called 2 Asterian beasts in Cerberus, and don't forget the chains of Judecca. You should be glad you are still alive, Kurama said this because Naruto's chakra was almost gone and he was about to die. You are correct. I am sorry, said Naruto. Anyway, where are my things? Naruto asked with some worry because he didn't want someone to steal his clothes, armor, or scythe. Your armor and clothes are in the closet. And your scythe is on the floor next to your bed. Naruto looked down and saw that Kurama was right. He got out of bed and opened the closet. He took out his stuff and started to get dressed. When he was done, he went to put his scythe on his back, but he saw something strange on the handle. When he looked closer, he saw burned flesh pieces from someone's hand and burned fabric pieces from a glove. Kurama, did anyone try to steal my scythe? With some anger, Naruto asked. Yes, some fools did try to take it. First, your mother touched it, but she only did that because she wanted you to bring it here. She was able to get you to wear it. Then, when we got here and put you in this room, the doctors touched it, but they couldn't do it for too long, so they thought the floor would be the best place for the time being. Then that jerk from Uchiha tried to take it. I have to say that it was funny to watch him scream like a little girl when he grabbed it and burned his hand. His little puppy, whose name I think was Sakura, was the next one. She said something to the effect that a monster like you didn't deserve a weapon like that and that if she got the scythe for that Uchiha jerk, he would definitely go out with her. She tried to help by bringing a glove, but it wasn't enough. The last person to try it was an Anbu agent, but it didn't work for the Hokage because it said something about Danzo and that he would be unbeatable with the scythe. He couldn't take it. As you can see, Kurama and Naruto could only laugh at how weak their attempts were. Those idiots don't even know what they are trying to steal, Naruto said. I'm leaving, and he went to the door. When he walked outside, someone stopped in front of him after just a few steps. Naruto Nii-sama? You are awake? Yumi was very surprised to hear this when she went to the hospital to see her brother with a bouquet of flowers. Yumi? Why are you here? And why did you call me Sama? When Naruto was asked, Yumi stopped talking. Well, I'm here because you're my brother and I have to take care of you as a sibling. Since mom brought you here, I've seen you every day. And I called you, Sama, because I think you deserve it. In the end, you beat me and saved the town, Yumi said with a bit of a blush because she was ashamed. Yeah, and you think I'll believe all this nonsense about how much you care about me and respect me? I'm not that naive boy you could beat and humiliate whenever you wanted, Naruto said. Let's go, and he got up to leave. Yumi wanted to say something, but Naruto was right and she couldn't. After Naruto beat her and made her look bad in front of everyone, she began to understand how Naruto had felt all his life. And when he showed her the sins she had done, she completely understood where he was coming from. She didn't help Konoha win because she woke up after the invasion was over. A little while later, Kushina came in with Naruto. She gave him to the doctors so they could treat his wounds, and then she went to see her daughter. Because Naruto is so powerful, Yumi was surprised and amazed when she heard what he did. After that, she said she would try to get back in touch with her brother. However, what Naruto said about her was true. She was mean to him, and Yumi knew it would take a long time to make things right between them. When they see each other again, he won't forgive her right away. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to stretch my muscles. Yumi tried to talk to Naruto, but he was gone before she could say anything. When Naruto left the hospital, he went to the training grounds because he thought that would be the best place to work out. But as he walked there, an Anbu agent appeared in front of him. Uzumaki Naruto, the village council heard you got out of the hospital, and they want to talk to you. I'll take you there right away. The agent said, take him to the council chamber and try to grab Naruto. But Naruto was faster, and he pulled out his scythe and held it to the agent's neck. With one good move, the agent would lose his head, which would kill him. I will cut off your head if you try to grab me. If the council wants to see, that's fine. I'll go, but I'll walk there myself. Did you understand it? Or do I need to spell it? When Naruto was asked, the agent saw that letting him go was the best thing to do. Okay, I'll let the council know that you'll be there soon. The agent then left, he said. Bastards, Naruto put away his scythe and started walking to the Hokage Tower. As he walked, he heard the villagers talking about him and what happened during the invasion. Hey, did you hear that he might be able to beat Yumi-sama? One villager told another in a whisper. Yes, and I heard that he was also the one who killed the beast with one tail. Another villager said in a whisper. I'm not surprised. Only another demon can beat a demon, added a third person. He might have started to get his power back. We should try to change it, the fourth one said. You're right. I'll call the others, and we'll beat the crap out of him at night to get revenge for our loved ones and Yumi-sama. Repeated the first one. But when Naruto heard this, he stopped and turned to the group. If you ask me, you know you want to pay me back in a very strange way, Naruto said this as he moved towards the group. Why should we pay you back? One of the villagers asked. Perhaps because I saved this shithole you call a village. So, thank you very much, Naruto said this in a mad tone. But you hurt Yumi-sama, and 13 years ago, you were the one who killed a lot of innocent people. Added a third person. In a fair fight, I beat my sister. And since I can see you don't know anything about sealing, I won't even bother trying to tell you how my seal works. I can see that your IQ is about the same as that of an amoeba, so you wouldn't understand anything anyway, Naruto said. I'm leaving, and he got up. How dare you call us stupid? We will ask the council to kill you or kick you out of our village. You don't deserve to live here. One of the villagers yelled, but Naruto did nothing but smile. Good, do it. If I am kicked out, I won't have to live with stupid people with small minds, Naruto said, and he laughed a little. That's it. Let's kill him right now, a villager yelled, and the group of people started running towards Naruto to beat him. Some of them broke their glasses to get sharp objects to use against Naruto. Naruto didn't have a lot of time, though, so he tried to do this as quickly as he could. He pulled out his scythe and hit a villager with the dull end when he got close enough. In less than a minute, he had everyone on the ground. I can't believe that these weaklings were able to beat me when I was a kid. I bet if I had been a little tougher at the time, I could have beaten you with just my hands. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to deal with the slutty councilwoman, Naruto said. I'm leaving, and he got up. Demon, I hope they kill you, yelled a villager whom Naruto had just hurt. But Naruto didn't stop this time, because these cocky fools had already wasted too much of his time. A few minutes later, he walked to the council chamber from the Hokage tower. He walked into the room without knocking and went straight to the middle. They were all around Naruto. There were people from the Nara, Aburame, Hyuga, Akamichi, Inuzuka, and Sarutobi clans on the shinobi side. On the other side stood the people who spoke for the civilians. Naruto didn't know what their names were, but he didn't care much. There were 7 of them. All of them had different kinds of jobs, so they stood in for their other co-workers. There was a businessperson, an engineer, a lawyer, and so on. And Minato was in front of Naruto, and Kushina was behind him. The village's oldest people stood next to Minato. The third Hokage, Saruto Hiruzen, is with Danzo, Homura, Kaharu, and Kaharu. He gave his seat as a representative to his son, Asuma. And Hiruzen stayed to help Minato as a guide. You wanted to see me, huh? Asked Naruto, who seemed upset. Yes, Naruto, I'm glad you came, said Minato. What do you want? I just got out of the hospital, and you want to talk to me right away. Anyway, how did you know I left the hospital so soon? Asked Naruto with a bit of doubt. An Anbu agent always kept an eye on you in the hospital. As soon as you woke up, he told me. Minato and Naruto both groaned at this. Fine. So, what happened that could not wait? Said Naruto. Behave yourself, boy. You're in front of the best people in the village, someone on the civilian side said this. If I have something to say to you spineless cowards, I will. Naruto, who didn't want to deal with people, said this. How dare you call us spineless cowards? Hokage-sama, I want you to arrest him right away. Said the same thing in civilian. Minato, on the other hand, was on the same page as Naruto. Enough, council member. We're here to talk about what happened during the invasion and how the village will move forward, not about your problems with my son, Minato said it a little louder, and the counselor shut up after that. So, Naruto, Kushina gave me a very detailed report, but I have a few questions, said Minato. What are you looking for? Asked Naruto if he wanted to finish this quickly. Well, first of all, those chains you have aren't the chakra chains that the Uzumaki clan used, right? Minato and Naruto said, yes. Then you can teach it to other shinobi, right? Minato asked Naruto, who smiled. Minato thought Naruto could teach this to other shinobi, so they would never have to worry about bijus again. So you want me to show some shinobi how to use my skills? Naruto asked, and Minato gave a nod. Yes, Naruto. That would be a big help to the village. You could save many lives, Minato said this with a smile. Huh, no way, my dear father. Naruto said this with a wicked smile. What do you mean? Minato had asked. Because all the tricks I know can only be used by me and no one else. Naruto said with a smile on his face. How is it possible? They do not come from a bloodline. So they should be able to be used by the other shinobi. Kaharu, who was an elder, said this. This is where you're wrong. The only reason I can use them is because I have this scythe. Every skill I have came from the scythe. Said Naruto. Then we'll take it from you and give it to someone we trust. Danzo's voice was flat as he said it. You can try to take it away, but I made sure that only I can use it. I know Uchiha bastard Sasuke and his puppy Haruno bitch Sakura tried to take it away, and they burned themselves when they tried. I didn't forget about you, Danzo. An Anbu agent tried to take it too, who was yours? Let me guess, a root agent? Naruto asked, and when he looked into Danzo's eye, he saw all of his mistakes. I don't understand what you're saying. No one was ever asked to take that scythe from me. Also, the root program was stopped and made illegal. Danzo said this, but Naruto just laughed. You're wrong, Danzo. I saw all of your sins, and those 143 root agents you have won't be able to protect you if I tell every village what you did, Naruto replied, and Danzo started to feel nervous. But let me continue. Should I tell the village council that you told Orochimaru where the village was weak so that they could attack without anyone noticing? Naruto said something, and everyone turned to look at Danzo, who was now scared but didn't show it. Or how about that you're not as hurt as you look? I know that your right arm is made of Senju Hashirama's cells and that you have 10 Sharingans in your right arm, not to mention Uchiha Shisui's Sharingan under those bandages, said Naruto. I don't understand what you're saying. And you have no evidence, Danzo said this, but Naruto saw that Danzo might try to escape, so he got ready. Oh, really? Then take off your bandages and clothes and show us what you look like. Don't be shy. I think the others can handle seeing a man with one arm, he said this to make fun of him. You don't need to see anything. In the last war, I lost parts of my body, and that's all, Danzo said this as he tried to get back in charge. Danzo, show us what the Hokage told you to do, said Minato, and Danzo hesitated, but after a few seconds, they realized this was the end. Ground agents. Danzo yelled, and a 10 root agent came over. Kill everyone right now. Ordered Danzo, and the agents didn't wait a moment, they jumped at the council members to kill them. However, Danzo was sure they would die, so he tried to run away. Of course Naruto saw this and used chains of Judeka and captured Danzo immediately. The others from the Shinobi Council killed the agents, then they turned to Naruto, who walked to Danzo. So this is the end, Danzo. Do you have anything to say before I take you to the Judge of the Dead? Naruto asked Danzo, but he didn't give it up right away. Instead, he turned on Shisui's eye. Eye Ordia. Ah, screamed Danzo. Before he could use his genjutsu, Naruto stuck his blade into his eyes, which stopped it from working. Sorry, but that eye is very annoying, I hope you don't mind, said Naruto. You fool. Do you know what have you done? Screamed Danzo. Yeah, I just destroyed a very annoying weapon. And now it's your turn, Naruto said, cut him down, and he raised his scythe to do so. No, wait. If you help me become Hokage, I can give you everything you wanted, and you can kill everyone who hurt you, said Danzo. And Naruto gave a grin. Danzo thought that he could still get through this. I'm sorry, but I don't believe that. You smell like the sin of greed, and you have killed and betrayed people. So bye-bye, Naruto said, cut him down, and then he did. Danzo died right away, and Naruto took his soul. Naruto put his scythe away and went back to the council. Unfortunately, the civilian side had already won. So where were we before? Asked Naruto. You shouldn't have killed him, Naruto. He might have known something important, Minato, who was a little mad, said. Peeved. I just killed a traitor who ordered the deaths of who knows how many people. I think it's better this way. Also, he still has 133 fanatical followers. How long do you think it would take for them to escape him? Think about it. Oh, and I would suggest cleaning out his underground facility before they destroy all the important information. Naruto said this, and Minato let out a sigh and nodded. He called Kakashi, and he and a few groups of Junin went to clean up the place. They went back to the meeting after Minato gave the order. But you still killed a respected member of this council. For this you will be punished, and we will take that scythe of yours. Anbu, catch him, saying that Koharu and 2 other Anbu agents came out of hiding, but Minato stopped them. Stand still, you two, Minato told them to stop, and they did. And Koharu, how dare you tell my agents what to do? I would call it betrayal, Minato said this, but Koharu didn't care what the young Hokage thought. It is not treachery if this is for the good of the village. Your son has power that we could use against our enemies, but because of his hate he don't want to. I only ensure that the village will be here after I and my colleagues died," said Koharu, and Homura nodded. But Naruto did nothing but start to laugh. "Why is that so funny?" Homura asked with some anger. "I'm laughing because you talk about yourselves like you're the guardian angels of this village, but I've seen all of your sins, and I wouldn't be so proud," between two laughs, Naruto said. "We have never done anything that you would call a sin, boy," a member of the civilian council said this. "Oh, really? Then let me tell you what you've done wrong," Naruto said. "I'm here," and then he walked up to the council of civilians. "Let's start with you, National Bank President. Tell me how much money you stole from regular people and other shinobi." 5 million Ryo? Even the Hokage doesn't make this much money, if that tells you anything, Naruto said this, and the president's eyes grew wide because he was the only one who knew about this. Everyone else also looked at Naruto with wide eyes. "You're the leader of the merchants. Can you tell us how the prostitutes were yesterday at the brothel you go to every week? What do you tell your wife when you lie to her? Do you go to important meetings? You could come up with something else. And what about your two ugly children? Do they do well in school?" Everyone who was asked about Naruto had the same answer. "Ah, that's the main building in the village. Why don't you tell us how much you saved by using low-quality materials to rebuild? Where is the money you didn't spend? In your bank account? You need to pay more attention," Naruto said this again, and the reaction was the same as the first two times. Naruto went on and told them about all the dirty sins that the civilian council members had. He then turned to the shinobi side, but he didn't find anything interesting there except one thing. "Well, I have to say I'm surprised because your sins aren't that interesting. All of you killed already, what a surprise. Nara Shikaku is lazy and afraid of his own wife, boring. Akamichi Choza eats too much, everyone knows that. But you, Hyuga Hiyashi, have some very bad sins. You always put your daughter down, and you weren't strong enough to sacrifice yourself when Akumo Shinobi tried to take your daughter," said that he and Naruto wanted to say something, but he knew in his heart that Naruto was right. Naruto finally looked at the elders. "Well, you guys are the last. Where do I begin?" With his famous smile, Naruto asked, "Do you like this?" Everyone could see that he did. "You've got nothing on us, boy," Koharu said this, but all Naruto did was smile. "We will see," then Naruto looked into their eyes and spoke. "Oh, now I get it," Naruto said this, and he began to laugh. "Why is that so funny?" Koharu yelled. "You say I don't have anything on you, but you're wrong. I found some very interesting sins," Naruto said something, but no one else knew what he meant. "You said you did everything for the village, right?" Naruto, and they said yes. "Then, tell me about how you got your job," when Naruto asked, both Koharu and Homura's eyes got bigger. "Naruto, what are you talking about?" Even Minato didn't get it, so he asked him. "Oh, it's easy, my dear father. These two people were so afraid of dying that they sacrificed everyone so they could live through the wars and eventually become the village elders." When Naruto spoke, everyone turned to look at them. "Slander. We worked hard to get where we are now," said Koharu. "Oh, and what about that time when you left your team to die and lied that you would come back with reinforcements? You knew it would take too long to get to Konoha and go back in time. Or that time when you somehow, I don't know how, didn't get to your destination in time and a lot of your friends died?" Naruto told them these examples, and then he gave them at least 10 more. When he was done, everyone saw that the elders were a bunch of cowards who only cared about themselves. "Koharu, Homura, I want to talk to you about a few things you've done after the meeting," Minato said this in a very angry way. "Minato, you have to realize that Konoha needed us, that we had to stay alive, and that." Koharu said this, but Minato was done with them. "Shut up, or you'll join Danzo," he said. "And you can call him Hokage-sama. Did you understand it?" Minato and the other elders knew they had to listen to what he had to say. "Yes, Hokage-sama," both of them said it. "Okay, Naruto," he said. Did you get to the end? Or do you want to keep going? Minato asked because this day was getting way too long. He thought he only had to deal with Naruto, but after Naruto's show, he had to deal with the elders, the civilian council, and the cleaning of Danzo's base. I don't care about Sarutobi, so you're the last one, father. But I don't want to ruin the fun, so I'll stop for now. Naruto and Minato both let out a sigh. He thought he was way too old for this job right now. Okay, so you can't teach those skills? Minato and Naruto said, yes. Then, can you tell us what kind of creatures you called forth and how you did it? Minato asked, but Naruto just smiled and laughed. Why do you care so much about me now? You didn't care about my life before the Chunin exam, said Naruto. Naruto, you are my son, and I care about you and your well-being all the time, said Minato. If this is true, why did you let the villagers beat me almost every day? Asked Naruto. I had no idea that they were hitting you, Minato said this, but he forgot that Naruto knew about every mistake he had ever made. You lie, my dear father, and I don't even have to look into your eyes to know it, Naruto said this in a mad tone. Look, Naruto, I made a mistake, but if you let me, I can explain everything. Minato said this with a nervous grin. I don't care about your pathetic excuses. If you want to know more about my techniques, you can forget it, because I won't tell you anything. When we're done, I'll leave, Naruto said. I'll go to the door, and he did. There is still one more thing we have to discuss, said Minato, and Naruto stopped. What's that? Asked Naruto in a grumpy way. The Tsuchikage and I agreed to make a deal to work together, Minato said this, but Naruto didn't think it was cool. Congratulations, you must be happy. But tell me what you want, asked Naruto. Well, we think this alliance will be strong if we make it even stronger by getting married. Minato and Naruto could see where this was going, they said. Do you want to use me as a pawn in your little game to get Iwa to join your side? Asked Naruto, who was very angry at this point. Naruto, if you got married, it would help the village a lot, and you wouldn't have to worry about finding a wife in the future. Minato said this with a smile. I don't need a wife, friends, or family, he said. I only need one partner, and I'm happy with that, Naruto said, and Minato was shocked by what he said. You mean Kurama, the Kyuubi? Naruto, you can't trust him. He nearly destroyed the whole village and killed hundreds of people, said Minato. Then what? Who knows how many people you and the other shinobi killed and how many villages and towns you tore down? Kurama did that one night, but you did it during the wars. That's the only difference. So you're just as bad as Kurama. Even though you didn't care about me, at least he did. So you can take your ideas to hell, Naruto said, and everyone was speechless. I want to help you, Naruto, Minato said this with some worry. Who told you I need your help? Do what you always do when I ask for help. Say I'm too busy with the village, paperwork, or training Yumi. He told Naruto and Minato that he did these things when Naruto asked him to. Well, I'm going to leave now. Good morning, everyone, Naruto and Minato, he said, were trying to stop him. Naruto wait up, Minato yelled, but by the time he did, Naruto had already shut the door hard. This is not okay. This brat needs to learn some respect, and what he said about making accusations without any proof is disgusting, a member of the civilian side said this. What Naruto said about someone's sins was true, so get ready for a very deep investigation, Minato told the Council of Civilians, who were now a little scared. The Iwa delegate will arrive in 2 weeks. What should we do about Naruto? Said Shikaku. I'll give it some thought. The meeting has to end for now, before the elders could leave, though, 2 Ambu agents showed up and took them to Ibiki. Some of the civilians were also taken to Ibiki. 5 teams were sent in, and by the end of the day, they had caught or killed every root agent. They found documents about everything Danzo had done in the last 40 years, including unapproved missions, killing lords, stealing from other countries, taking children from orphanages, etc. After Naruto left the council chamber, he went to the training grounds to blow off some steam. While he was training, he noticed that someone was watching him. It wasn't an Ambu agent, because they were better than that, but it was a shinobi who wasn't very good at being quiet. Naruto had enough of it, so he started to yell. "Come out of here. I don't like it when people watch me." Naruto was yelled at but nothing happened. He waited for 1 minute, but nothing happened. "If you don't come out, I'll leave, and that wouldn't be good for you." Naruto yelled again, and a few seconds later he heard footsteps. It was Hinata, he saw a half-minute later. "Hyuga Hinata. Why are you spying on me?" asked Naruto. "I wasn't spying only, I said." Hinata said this, but she was very scared. "Okay, if you didn't watch me, what do you want?" asked Naruto, and Hinata's nerves grew. "Just wanted to say thanks for saving my life." Hinata said it, but Naruto didn't really care. "Sure, no problem." "You're welcome." Naruto said it in a way that said, "I don't care." "If that's all you have to say, leave me alone." Naruto was ready to keep training, but Hinata decided that today was the day she would tell him how she felt and make up for everything she had done wrong. "Wait, Naruto-kun. There's something else I'd like to talk to you about," Hinata said, and Naruto did nothing but sigh. "What's that?" asked Naruto, who wanted her to leave the most. "I've made some mistakes in the past, which is why you're always by yourself, but..." Hinata said something, but Naruto cut her off. "I'm fine being by myself," said Naruto. "But everyone needs friends." Hinata couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Don't bother if you want to bore me with that crap about how someone will be strong if they have something valuable to protect. I can be strong without these weak ideas," said Naruto, and he and Hinata took a small step back. "So what do you need to do to get strong?" Hinata asked, but she already knew she didn't want to hear the answer. "Hate. All I need to get strong is to hate. I don't like them. I don't like this town. I hate everything in this world." Naruto said this with his evil smile. "Please listen to me, Naruto-kun. This isn't you. Stop doing this before you do something you'll regret." Hinata said this as she was beginning to cry. "How do you know?" "Seeing as how everyone hates me, I can also hate everyone," said Naruto. "But I don't hate you. I love you," she said. Hinata yelled. "If you loved me, why weren't you there when I needed you?" asked Naruto, and Hinata went quiet all of a sudden. "You weren't there because your father threatened to brand you with the cursed seal and send you to Branch House if you even tried to get close to me." When Naruto said this, Hinata's eyes got bigger. "No, it wasn't like that," she said. Hinata said this, but Naruto didn't care what she had to say. "Then let me remind you of your sins." He said that Naruto and Hinata were drawn in by the tattoo, just like Yumi and Jiraiya. "Think back 7 years. Hinata sat in front of her unhappy father for 6 years. Hinata's progress was sad, but her sister's was good. He also heard that Uzumaki Naruto, who was thought to be a demon and a failure, saved her. And as a second act, she tried to get along with him. Hiyashi couldn't let Hinata hurt the family name anymore. Hinata, I heard that you wanted to be friends with Naruto Uzumaki. That right? Asked Hiyashi. Yes, father. He seemed to be alone, and that's because. Hinata said something, but Hiyashi cut her off. I don't care why you did what you did. You can't be friends, though, said Hiyashi, and Hinata became sad. But why, father? He's a good boy. I'm sure he doesn't deserve it. Hinata said, but Hiyashi again cut her off. Silence. Hiyashi yelled, and Hinata went quiet right away. Stop doing this, or I swear I'll brand you myself and send you to the Branch family. I'll use the seal on you every day, so you'll be a good example for everyone who doesn't agree with my decisions. Do you understand? Hiyashi asked, and Hinata said yes. Very good. You will look for him tomorrow and tell him you can't be friends because you can't be seen with a commoner and failure like him. Also, starting tomorrow, we will train you twice as much. Do you understand? Hiyashi asked, and Hinata nodded her head again. The next day, Naruto waited for Hinata in the park because she said she would play with him. He was very excited because this was the first time he could have a friend. A few minutes later, Hinata came and Naruto ran to her. "Hi, Hinata-chan. First, what do you want to play?" A happy voice asked Naruto. "Uzumaki-san, I'm sorry, but we can't play. Now, tomorrow, or never," Hinata spoke in a harsh tone. "About what are you talking? Who started to get scared?" Naruto was asked. "I'm the heiress of the Hyuga family, and I can't be seen with a commoner and failure like you, Uzumaki-san. So, this is the end. Be careful." Hinata said the same thing in a stern voice, and then she left while Naruto thought about what had happened. He realized it was impossible for him to make friends, so he started to cry and ran away. He didn't notice that Hinata was crying, too. After that, Naruto didn't even try to make friends, and Hinata didn't talk to him, but she sometimes watched him from a safe distance. The past scene is over. Hinata fell to her knees and started crying like there was no tomorrow. Naruto walked up next to her but didn't look at her. "You are a coward and a traitor. You broke my trust and hid behind excuses, but you still have the nerve to say you love me. I am so sick of you." Naruto spoke in a calm voice. "But in a way, I'm thankful because I wouldn't be where I am now without you," continued Naruto. "Please forgive me, I'm so sorry," Hinata said this as she cried. "Whatever you want, I don't care," Naruto said. "I'm leaving," and he got up. "Please don't go. I love you and want to be with you," said Hinata. "It's a very sad story. But I don't love you." When Hinata heard this from Naruto, her heart broke into a million pieces. "But when I go after the people who hurt me, I might not come after you because you were the one who killed my last hope that I could be happy." Later, Naruto said something, and then he went away, leaving Hinata alone. She couldn't stop crying because she knew she had made Naruto into a person who didn't care about anything or anyone. He only wanted to see everyone who had hurt him dead at his feet. The last thing she thought about before she passed out was, "What has happened?" Yumi went to the training grounds to look for his brother, who he had not seen in a long time. She found out what happened from her mother and wanted to talk to Naruto about it. She knew she could only find him at the training grounds because she couldn't find him in the village. She had been looking for him for a long time with no luck, but then she saw something on a clear day. When she moved closer, she saw that it was Hinata. She touched her forehead to see if she was okay and felt how hot it was. She couldn't just leave her there, so she picked her up and took her to the hospital. From that training ground, it wasn't too far to get to the hospital. She got there after a while. She went to the head nurse when she got there. "Please excuse me, but I need help with her," Yumi said something, and the nurse got up and went to them right away. What was wrong with her? Worriedly, she asked the nurse. "I'm not sure. This is how I found her. She has a fever, though," Yumi replied, and the nurse looked at her forehead. "Right away, I'll call a doctor," the nurse replied, "Yes," and then went back to her desk to call a doctor. A tall woman doctor came to help them in a minute. "What's going on?" Yumi was asked by the doctor, and she told him the same thing she had told the nurse. "I see. It could be a heat stroke. Nurse, take her to a room with a normal temperature, hook her up to an IV bag, and take her coat off. If she doesn't respond in 30 minutes, call me again." The doctor and nurse both nodded in agreement. "Can you help me?" They did what the doctor said and then let her rest. After half an hour, Hinata's fever started to go down and she started to breathe more calmly, so the doctor must have been right. "I need to see some other patients. Can you keep an eye on her for me?" When Yumi asked the nurse, she nodded again. Yumi just stood there and watched Hinata sleep. She heard something then. It was almost a whisper. She didn't know where it came from, but when she looked at Hinata, she saw that it was her. She talked in her sleep. The first time Yumi heard it, she didn't get it, but over time she did. Every few seconds, she said, "Please forgive me." Then, when it was time, she stopped. Yumi saw the girl sleeping and thought Naruto was making her sick because she had a fever. Hinata began to wake up after a few hours. She opened her eyes and sat up. She took a look around and saw that she was in the hospital with Yumi. "You are awake. I like that. I'll give the doctor a call." Yumi left the room and came back a few minutes later with the same doctor who had treated her. "How are you, Miss Hyuga? Wanted to know." "I feel better. Thank you." Hinata said that the doctor checked her fever and heart and found that both were fine. "Well, your fever is gone. Did you work out too hard?" Hinata asked the doctor for help. She didn't like lying, but she thought it was the best thing to do at the time. "I did. Before I could even notice, I passed out from the heat." Hinata said this, but Yumi knew she was lying. "Okay, you can go, but be more careful next time. Don't wear so many warm clothes and bring some water with you." Hinata agreed with what the doctor said. "Well, I've got to go." "Be careful," the doctor told Hinata to get her things together and go home. "Hinata, you lied, didn't you?" When Yumi asked Hinata, she stopped dead in her tracks. "What are you talking about, Yumi-san? Why should I tell a doctor a lie?" asked Hinata. "Because I know it wasn't a heatstroke that knocked you out. It was Naruto, right?" When Yumi was asked, Hinata could no longer hide it. She started crying, and then she looked at Yumi. "I did something horrible to Naruto-kun. So he hates me now. I passed out from the shock." Hinata said this as she cried. "What did you?" asked Yumi. "It happened before we started going to the academy. I was running through the village because my father had hit me again because he didn't think I was the perfect daughter he wanted. I wanted to get away from home because of this, but I ran into an older kid and broke his ice cream. He wasn't too happy about it. I tried to say I was sorry, but he and his friends started picking on me. When Naruto showed up, he scared them away. After that, we talked a bit, and he asked me to be his friend because he didn't have any. I told him I'd be happy, and I said I'd play with him the next day. But I didn't know that my protector was there and could see everything. He told my dad everything, which didn't go over too well. He told me to cut off all ties to Naruto or he would brand me and send me to the branch family. Also, he would use the seal on me every day to show everyone what would have happened to them if they hadn't agreed with him. I did that because I was afraid. After I said something that hurt Naruto, he ran away with tears in his eyes. We never talked again after that, but I watched him from a safe distance, and I fell in love with him before I even knew it. And during the Chunin exam, I decided to make things right, so I gathered all the courage I could and told him how I felt," said Hinata. "What did he say?" asked Yumi, but she knew the answer already. "He doesn't love me. I'm sure he never will, though. I'm already late. Naruto has been gone for a long time." Hinata said this as she was beginning to cry. "Is that everything he did?" asked Yumi. Hinata's head jerked back, and then she said, "He forced me to look at my sin. He said that the last bit of hope he had was gone because of me. I can't say anything against that. Because I was afraid, I hurt a kind-hearted boy. And made a monster that kills because it gives him pleasure to do so. I guess that because of what I have done, hell has a special place for me." Hinata said something that Yumi didn't like, so Yumi gave her a hard slap that left a mark on her cheek. Hinata was stunned for a few seconds, then she looked at Yumi's angry face. "So that's it? You just give up? If you do this, Naruto is right. You are a coward." Yumi said this in a mad voice. "How can I help? He has no interest in me. He saved me only so that he could hurt me." Hinata said this in a way that showed she no longer cared about anything. "Hinata, listen to me. I know there is still good in him, but it is buried under his hatred, anger, and sadness." Yumi said this in a hopeful way. "How do you know that?" asked Hinata. "He could have killed me during our match, but he didn't. He could have ignored Genma's words and killed me, but he didn't. He could have killed you at any time, but he didn't because he still cares about us and maybe blames your father, too. Yumi said this, which made Hinata think about what had happened. And how do you want to help bring Naruto-kun back to his old self? Hinata asked, who began to have hope again. Everything started with that scythe. If we can take it from him and destroy it, maybe that will solve everything or at least give us some clues. Yumi said this, but Hinata didn't believe her. But what if this makes him even more angry? Asked Hinata. This is why we are going to talk to my dad about that scythe. I heard that they found out something new about it, which might be useful, said Yumi, and Hinata nodded. Let's go then, Hinata said. I'm leaving, but Yumi stopped her. Hinata, please wait, there's one more thing, said Yumi. Yes? Said Hinata. I promise you we'll bring back my brother. When he's back to normal, he'll take you on a date to the best place in the village, and if he doesn't want to, I'll make him. Yumi said this with a smile, and when Hinata heard this, she turned red. Okay, thank you, Hinata said with a smile. Let's go then, Yumi said. Let's go see Minato, and they left the hospital. Minato was still in his office and was looking over all of the information they had found in Danzo's base and house. Minato couldn't figure out how Danzo could have kept all of this a secret. Someone had to notice it, and he might have stopped those who were close to revealing Danzo. Minato kept working even though someone knocked on the door. Enter, he bowed and waited for Minato, who came in with a medic shinobi. How can I help you? Minato had asked. Hokage-sama, I'm sorry to have bothered you, but we need to ask you something, the doctor said. We? Asked Minato. I and the other hospital doctors and nurses. We can't treat a lot of patients because none of us knows enough about them. We need your help because of this, the doctor said. What do you mean by that? Minato had asked. There are injuries we can't treat because our stuff wasn't taught to treat them because those kind of methods were only taught during the war. We want to help them, but we don't know how or have the right information. The medic and Minato now understood what the problem was. After the war, some of the methods weren't taught to the medic shinobis because they needed a lot of time and practice. However, they needed the medics, so most of what they learned was the basic stuff. But what do you want? Minato had asked. We ask you to bring Tsunade-sama back. Only she has the right skills and knowledge. Many people will die without her, the doctor said this, and Minato nodded. I'll send out a team right away to get her back, he said. Minato said this, and the medic agreed. Thank you, Hokage-sama. I have to go back to the hospital, so please excuse me. After the doctor left, Minato called an Anbu agent and asked them to bring Jiraiya here. It didn't take long for Jiraiya to stand in front of Minato. Hey, kid, what's up? I see you have a lot of work to do here, said Jiraiya. Don't bring it up. I have a lot more work to do after Naruto's little show in the council chamber, with a sad smile, Minato said. I heard he made a big circus there, but I don't know the details. Can you fill me in? Asked Jiraiya. Thanks to Naruto, we were able to arrest most of the civilian council and elders, except for Hiruzen. Danzo was shown to be a traitor, so Naruto killed him, said Minato. Well, I have to say that the kid knows how to clean the house, said Jiraiya, and Minato nodded. Yes. I'm reading the papers we found in Danzo's house and base right now. Then I have to look at some old documents about the elders and what they were supposed to do. After that, I have to find out how big this conspiracy circle that the civilian council set up is. Yes, I do have a lot to do, said Minato. I don't envy you, but I'm sure you called because I have to do something important, like save a virgin princess or something. Jiraiya asked with a sly smile. Almost. You have to get Tsunade back, she said. That Minato and Jiraiya's smiles went away. You know, I just remembered that I need to check out one of the leads that one of my sources gave me. Jiraiya said this in a tense way. I don't agree, sensei. You need to find her, said Minato. Minato, you know that she hates me because I tried to watch her in the bathhouse. If she sees me, she will kill me right away. Jiraiya said this with a lot of fear. Then you can bring someone with you to keep you safe, said Minato to calm Jiraiya down. Okay, and who are the lucky ones from which I can choose? Asked Jiraiya. Tell me if you want to bring someone with you. When he said this, Minato and Jiraiya began to think. What do you think if I took Naruto with me? Asked Jiraiya. Minato was surprised, but it might not have been such a bad idea. At first I thought you were crazy, but now that I think about it again, it's not such a bad idea. Said Minato. Yes, I think he would feel better if we spent a little time away from the village. Maybe I could teach him something and earn a little bit of his trust. Said Jiraiya, and Minato nodded. All right. Find Naruto and tell him I sent him with you on a mission. When Jiraiya left, Yumi and Hinata came in to talk to Minato after Jiraiya had left. What can I do for you, Yumi and Hinata-san? Minato had asked. Dad, I heard that new information has come out about Nisai. Samas, tell me about it, please. With hopeful eyes, Yumi asked. I'm sorry, Yumi, but that information is secret, so I can't tell you anything. Minato said something, and Yumi's smile went away. Oh, Dad, come on. We want the old Ni-sama to come back. With these facts, we might be able to do it, said Yumi. Yumi, those facts wouldn't help you, said Minato. Then what can you say to help me? Asked Yumi. Right now, there's nothing I can do to help you. The only thing I can suggest is that you try to be his friend. Minato said this as he began to look down at the ground. Well, that doesn't help much, Yumi said this with a bit of anger. I don't have any better ideas. I also want to see the old Naruto, but we don't know enough about the scythe, said Minato. What would happen if we blew it up? When Yumi asked, Minato gave a small laugh. If we could do that, we would, but it's not possible to destroy a weapon like that. Said Minato. About what are you talking? Yumi, who was now interested, asked. Never mind, just go home. I'll be there by dinner time, Minato said this, and Yumi left with Hinata because she didn't have a better idea. What do we do now? Asked Hinata and Yumi what they thought. Now we're going home, but tomorrow we're going to the library to see if we can find out anything about that scythe. Said Yumi, and Hinata nodded. While Yumi and Hinata went home, Naruto was in the village. His so-called home was where he was going. The villagers left him alone right now because they didn't want to anger the person who beat Yumi and Shukaku. While he walked, someone he really didn't like showed up in front of him. It was Uchiha Sasuke. He had that annoying smug smile, but Naruto knew that the Uchiha boy didn't have anything that could keep him away. What are you doing? Asked Naruto after he stopped. The village council has given me permission to take your scythe and give it to them. They will then give it to me, so why don't you just give it to me? Same arrogant smile from Sasuke. Show me the approval. Naruto and Sasuke showed it to him. It was made before Naruto woke up, and everyone on the civilian council signed it except the elders, Minato, and the shinobi council. This paper is worthless because only the civil council signed it, and I just heard that they were arrested, so it can only be used for toilet paper. Naruto said, tear it up, and then he did it in front of Sasuke. That's not allowed. You saw that it was okay. Give the scythe to me, Sasuke yelled. I don't care what you or the civilian council want. I'm not your girlfriend, and none of you can tell me what to do, Naruto said this with a smile. Then I'll go to the Hokage, he said. Sasuke said this with a proud smile. If you do that, he will say the same thing, she said. Then Naruto started to walk away. But Sasuke was in the way. Then I will forcefully take it from you, Sasuke said this and started making the signs for the Chidori. Naruto just smiled. Good, then I can say I killed you in self-defense, he said, Naruto said and pulled out his scythe. But Jiraiya showed up before any of them could do anything. What's happening here? Put your hands down, said Jiraiya. Get out of my way, old man. That loser has something I want, and I'll take it from him. Sasuke said, I'll attack, but Kakashi came up from behind him and knocked him out. I am sorry, Jiraiya-sama. When he wanted to use the Chidori, I don't know what he was thinking. I will talk to him, though. Kakashi and Sasuke left, and Jiraiya nodded. After they left, Jiraiya turned to Naruto, who had already put away his scythe. What do you want now? Asked Naruto with a smile on his face. Jiraiya just thought back to when he did that to him, and he didn't want to go through it again. No. I came because we had a job from the Hokage, said Jiraiya. What's the mission? Asked Naruto. We need to find Tsunadeheim and bring her back to the village, said Jiraiya. Why should I go? Asked Naruto. For a short time, you can leave the village. And who knows, maybe we'll face some tough competitors. Jiraiya and Naruto thought about it and decided that it would be good to get some new souls. Okay, let's go. What are we waiting for? Said Naruto. After Jiraiya talked Naruto into going with them, they left to find Tsunade. Jiraiya tried to talk to Naruto while they were on the road, but Naruto wasn't in the mood. The first day went smoothly, but after a few days they stopped to rest in a small town. Jiraiya went out to find information while Naruto stayed at the inn. When he heard someone knocking on his door, Naruto sharpened his scythe. When he opened the door, two men were standing there. Both wore black coats with red clouds on them. One was taller and carried a big sword. He was smaller, but his eyes were red. Naruto saw that he had a pair of Sharingan when he looked at him. Uzumaki Naruto. You and your sister are important to our group. Come with us, please. Itachi, the smaller Uchiha, said that Naruto used all of his strength to fight against his eyes. Itachi was surprised that Naruto was stronger than he thought. Don't worry about it, Itachi. I'll handle it. When the other guy pulled out his sword to knock Naruto out, he said, I'm sorry. He was Hoshikage Kisame. But Naruto was faster than the attack, so he was able to avoid it. He took up his scythe and got ready for the fight. What did you do, Kurama? The giant fox asked Naruto. His Sharingan is much stronger than I thought. You could stop his genjutsu for now, but you can't look into his eyes again, the fox said. Got it. Naruto started making hand signs, and when he was done, the chains of Judeka came out and tied Itachi up. This will make you stay there while I make sushi with your friend. Naruto said this and then went after Kisame. I'll look after him, Itachi. You don't do anything, said Kisame. Do what you want, said Itachi. Naruto and Kisame began their fight with their most valuable weapons. Even though Naruto was good, he could see that Kisame had the upper hand because he had been fighting longer. But both of them could hurt the other in some ways. After fighting for 5 minutes, they put some distance between themselves and looked at each other to see how much damage they could do. Naruto cut himself pretty badly on the face and arm. Kisame, on the other hand, gave him more cuts, and most of them were pretty deep. Kisame then smiled and began to laugh. Why is that so funny? Asked Naruto. It's been so long since I had a good fight with someone. I'm going to enjoy it as long as I can. Kisame said, we're going to attack again. They were about to, but someone stopped them. Itachi. Sasuke yelled. Sasuke? Itachi said. I will kill you, Sasuke yelled and ran at Itachi with a Chidori. He managed to stab him, but Itachi turned into a group of crows. When Naruto saw this, he didn't understand it. He thought he had caught him with the chains. Then Itachi came back and used the Tsukuyomi on Sasuke and knocked him out. Naruto started to panic because he was in a very bad situation. Okay, so where were we? Kisame asked, but all of a sudden, the walls looked like the inside of something. Then Jiraiya suddenly showed up. If you wanted to fight, Itachi, you could also invite me, said Jiraiya. Kisame, we have to leave. If Jiraiya is here, more help will be here soon. Itachi said. TCH. Fine. The next time we fight, we will win. Jiraiya tried to stop Kisame and Itachi, but they got away. A few minutes later, Guy showed up and said that the Anbu would look around and maybe find them. Guy took Sasuke back to the village, and Jiraiya and Naruto continued their journey to find Tsunade. This is for taking a look at me, Tsunade said something, and then she went back to drinking. Good hit, Naruto said this with a smile. What are you? Asked Tsunade, who seemed a bit tipsy. Of course you don't remember me. Just like my parents and the guy you just hit, you never cared about me. Naruto and Tsunade tried to think harder, but the sake made Tsunade's mind a little less sharp. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Do you remember? Naruto asked, and Tsunade's eyes got as big as Shizune's, who was also there with Taunton. Naruto, you grew so big. I'm sure you're also stronger, Tsunade said this in a tense way. Don't act like an idiot. When you realized you couldn't teach Yumi anything, you left the village, even though you could have taught me a lot. You thought my parents would teach me, but you were wrong. They never did. I was lucky I made it through my first few months as a shinobi, but right now I don't care what you think of me. Pack your things, because we're going back to the village, said that both Naruto and Tsunade felt bad about Naruto. Yumi's training wasn't the only reason I left. I didn't want to think about my bad memories, said Tsunade. Spare me your excuses. All you lost was your little brother and your love. Others have lost their whole family and have more backbone than you do because they don't run away from their problems, Naruto said this, but all it did was make Tsunade mad. How do you know? Nothing was ever lost, said Tsunade in her anger. You're right, I've never lost anything, said Naruto. See? Things are much better for you now, Tsunade said this, but Naruto just laughed. You wouldn't let me finish. I said I've never lost anything because I've never had anything. When Naruto said this, Tsunade's eyes got even bigger. I never had a family because they didn't care if I lived or died. I didn't have any friends because of the people in the village. And I never learned what love is because of a cowardly wench. When Jiraiya came back, Naruto got up to leave. I'm leaving. She's not worth my time or anyone else's. Do whatever you want, pervert. Then Naruto went away. Jiraiya did nothing but shake his head. I assume you spoke with the new Naruto, said Jiraiya. What do you mean, new? Asked Shizune. Jiraiya told everything after this question. He told them about the scythe, his strange abilities, the Chunin exam, the invasion, the council meeting, and the new alliance with Iwa. What happened in the last few months shocked both Tsunade and Shizune. And it made me worry. They thought that getting married would help ease the tension, but it only made things worse. Naruto is angrier than ever, and the fact that he destroyed council by arresting and killing Danzo only shows that he is nobody's dog. Can't Minato do anything? Shizune asked with some worry. We tried to help him by giving him training and a wife, but he didn't want them, said Jiraiya. Did you try to steal the scythe? Asked Tsunade and Jiraiya nodded. Then why does he still have it? Asked Tsunade. Because no one else can touch it. If you try to touch the scythe, it will burn you very badly, Jiraiya said something, and Tsunade nodded to show that she got it. I think that if I offer him training, he will turn it down, right? Asked Tsunade. How powerful is he now? Asked Shizune. It's hard to say. He beat Yumi and Gaara, but he had trouble with Kisame and Itachi. I would say he is high Chunin and very close to low Junin. Jiraiya and the other two were shocked when he said this. But you can talk to Minato and Kushina about the specifics. I'm here right now to bring you back. Again, the village needs you, said Jiraiya. Why should I go back? You said Naruto wants to kill everyone who has wronged him, and I am on his list. It would be best to stay out of his way, said Tsunade. Don't tell me you turned into a coward, okay? Asked Jiraiya. I don't care what you think of me. I'm not coming back, said Tsunade. The doctors need to know what you know. Only you can help the people who were hurt in the invasion get better. You would never leave someone hurt to die on their own. Jiraiya and Tsunade couldn't say otherwise, he said. Okay, I'll come back, but only to help everyone. Then I'll leave, said Tsunade. You can talk to Minato about the specifics, said Jiraiya. Okay, we'll leave in the morning. Tsunade said this, and the others agreed. And just as she said, they left the city the next morning to go back to the village. Tsunade was unable to talk to Naruto. Shizune tried to talk to him anyway. Shizune didn't bother Naruto, so he talked to her for a while. He didn't say anything important, just small things. For example, what was his favorite food, what was his favorite color when he was little, and so on. Jiraiya didn't understand how Shizune could talk to Naruto. Before her, no one could get him to talk. But Shizune didn't talk to him in a simple way. She spoke to him like a real friend, or he might say she spoke to him like a parent. After a few days, they made it to the village. They went straight to Minato. Minato was glad that they got there so quickly. He asked Tsunade to help the doctors right away, and he said that when she was done, they could talk about what would happen next. After everyone but Jiraiya had left, he told Minato what had happened during the mission. This means that the Akatsuki needs both Naruto and Yumi, said Minato, and Jiraiya nodded. Yes, but I think they also want the other Bijus, said Jiraiya. Do you know what they want to do with them? Minato asked, but Jiraiya gave him a shock to the head. Then all we can do is get ready for them to come, and the alliance with Iwa could help a lot, said Minato. But Naruto doesn't want to get married. What are your plans? Asked Jiraiya. Naruto doesn't have a choice. His bride is coming in a few days, and I want them to get married by the end of the month, said Minato. You'll only make him more angry, Jiraiya said this with some worry. I've made him mad his whole life, so I don't see why I shouldn't do it again, Minato said this, but all Jiraiya did was shake his head. Minato, I hope you're right. For everybody's sake, Jiraiya replied, and then he left. I hope so too, sensei.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.